Welcome back everybody to another episode on EI Entertainment Studios, back at it with another debate video. Today's debate video we're going to be talking about Godzilla 2019 versus Cthulhu. This is going to be a very interesting debate video because Cthulhu is such a complex character. It's going to be very interesting, kind of compromising him into the world of Godzilla, and that's what I'm going to be trying to achieve today, in trying to see who would be the winner if these two kaijus were to fight one day on the silver screen. Do I think it's ever going to happen? Probably not, but it could. I mean, we saw a very modernized version of Cthulhu in the latest movie Underwater from 20th Century Fox, and there's a very good chance. You know what? Time will tell. Let's just get on with this debate video. So, what we're gonna do here is I'm gonna get Cthulhu, and we're gonna rip into his backstory. We're gonna go over pretty much the origin of Cthulhu, and we're gonna talk about his abilities. And just a quick disclaimer about the abilities: Cthulhu has a wide range of abilities, and I think some of them are a little bit unnecessary to use against Godzilla, so I myself have decided to not include the ones where I see not fit against Godzilla, just to kind of control it. So just to let you know about that, and everything else, we'll go over Cthulhu, all of his pretty much statistics, or stats, whatever you want to call it, and then we'll do the same thing with Godzilla, specifically as the legendary Godzilla, as I said in the beginning of the video, and then we'll put these two kaijus up against each other to fight to the death and see who would be the winner, or who would be the king of the monsters, would be a better way of saying it. So let's begin first with the opponent, which is obviously Cthulhu. Let's begin with the backstory of Cthulhu, shall we? Cthulhu was born on the planet Vhoorl, located in the 23rd nebula. He traveled to the star Zoth, where he spawned his offspring, along with his children, and the Star Spawn of Cthulhu. Cthulhu traveled to Saturn and then to Earth. They landed on a continent in the Pacific Ocean and built the city Vhoorl. Cthulhu received resistance from the Elder Things, who also lived on the planet. They waged war for the planet Earth until a truce was made. So here, I'm going to stop for a quick moment. It's interesting to kind of dissect things here. Now we can notice that Cthulhu is not always about complete destruction. There is a moment where Cthulhu can be compromised, and that's important to take into consideration, specifically when he's gonna fight Godzilla. But we'll go more deeper into this once we get to the battle section of the video. Anyways, Cthulhu then went into a deep hibernation within Vhoorl, which is the city that they built. Humanity then evolved on Earth, and Cthulhu communicated with several through dreams, resulting in the Cult of Cthulhu. Disaster then struck Vhoorl, sinking it into the ocean. Vhoorl has risen from the ocean for brief amounts of time. However, it has faded that Vhoorl will rise from the ocean permanently, and Cthulhu will retake the world sometime in the near future. That's very interesting backstory for Cthulhu. Now, let's go over the abilities for Cthulhu. What I'm actually going to do is, I do this pretty much almost all debate videos, I'm going to quickly skim over the abilities, and we're going to finish up Cthulhu, everything, and then we'll go back to Cthulhu's abilities before we move on to Godzilla. So I'll do a deep analysis of the abilities, no problem, so we're all on the same page, and then we'll move on to Godzilla. So I'm going to quickly skim over them for now, and then we'll finish Cthulhu before moving on to Godzilla. So, ability skim begins as follows. He obviously has wings, he has telepathy, he has vast strength, he is a shapeshifter, he has a madness inducement, and he has on-air Kinesis. And I'll go more deeper into what these actually are. Some of you may not know what these are, so we'll go more deeper into that. Now, I'll be honest with all of you guys here. I did my research about Cthulhu, and I was really not able to find a solid height for Godzilla. I was able to go to some fandom wikis, and there was not a specific number out there. Even though I read some comments from actual readers who were kind of hinting at it, I came to my own conclusion that Cthulhu looks pretty big. So I mean, you can correct me if you want, but this is the official height of the debate video for Cthulhu, and we're gonna go with 100 meters for Cthulhu. You could correct me on that, but that's what we're gonna do. And continuing from that, the territorial level of Cthulhu is maximum, aggression level is maximum, and we have put his biome strictly for this debate video in the ocean, so the battle will take place in the ocean. Okay, now that pretty much sums up Cthulhu, so now we're going to go back to the abilities. Let's go do a deep analysis of each single ability that Cthulhu has before moving on to Godzilla. So, obviously, wings is pretty much a self-explanatory thing. Cthulhu can fly. It's pretty fucking creepy, but yes, he can fly. Imagine seeing this big octopus humanoid thing that's over 100 meters tall, and that thing just flies too. That's pretty creepy. So yes, he can fly. He has telepathy. If you guys don't know what telepathy is pretty much the ability of mind reading. And he can read minds. So Cthulhu can do telepathy. I'm assuming some of this stuff would be covered in a psychology class, but I don't know. Who knows? Maybe you guys, if you take a college class in psychology, you might go over this. Right? At least there's theories. I don't believe telepathy is real, but the hell do I know? Next, we have vast strength. So, pretty much a better way of saying is Cthulhu has pure brute strength. He's very strong. He's very agile. He's a good fighter, especially when he is in the water, his prime area to fight. Also, he's a shapeshifter. He can shape shifts. I'm kind of referring to something here. I don't know why, I forgot the name, but this comes from Indian culture, I believe. Or not Indian, the Indian tribes. I remember seeing this, or reading about this. It's these, skinwalkers? Yeah, there we go, skinwalkers. It was in native tribes, I believe, and so they're shape-shifting creatures that look like humans. I don't know too deep into it, but that's the best thing I compare this to. And if you guys could maybe educate me more on that topic, I'll be more than happy to. But that's the thing I compare it to as a shapeshifter, is the skinwalkers. So yeah, he can shapeshift. Next, we have a madness inducement. So there's a belief that any creature or any human that comes next to Cthulhu or is near at least the area where Cthulhu is at, or the presence of Cthulhu, they just go all out mad. They go crazy. And I see this possibly affecting Godzilla. So yes, exactly what I said. That's what madness inducement is. He just makes his opponents or whoever is near him just go insane, go mad. Next we have on-air Kinesis. Now this is the ability to control someone's dreams. So we actually talked about this in the abilities when we were going over this. He did give dreams to people, and now I don't know if Godzilla dreams, if he's even capable of that level of dreaming, but I'm gonna go with the fact that he does, as he is a living creature. So there is a possibility that Cthulhu can mess with Godzilla's emotions or whatnot through dreams. And actually, there's a good factor in this battle. I'm not going to go over right now because obviously it's going to be at the battle section, but there is a good connection to the telepathy and the owner Kinesis. Now, that for this, you could say EI Studios' modernized version of the abilities for Cthulhu, that's it. We're going to cap at that for Cthulhu. And now we're going to move on to Godzilla. So Godzilla, this specific Godzilla we're talking about, there's many Godzillas out there. And this specific Godzilla we're talking about is from the 2019 incarnation, soon to be 2020 this year, when Godzilla vs. Kong comes out. So soon he's going to be called Godzilla 2020, which I cannot wait when Godzilla vs. Kong comes out. I'm very excited for that movie. But anyways, let's not get off topic. So since the new movie hasn't come out yet, we're still going to go with Godzilla 2019. So, when it comes to Godzilla 2019, his backstory is quite interesting. He's actually different from almost all the other Godzillas. Because notice, first of all, Godzilla is a metaphor for the atom bomb, right? Godzilla is a metaphor for the atom bomb, and his backstory for most of his appearances are as follows for a good amount, specifically talking about the 1954 incarnation where he is born from nuclear testing. Right? He is an abomination. He comes from the atom bomb, and therefore he represents it. And something very cool similar to that, again, it's being an abomination. From GMK, he was born from all the soldiers. I believe it was the soldiers who wanted vengeance. It was their souls. But his main course of history is him being an abomination from the atom bomb. Another great explanation would be Shin Godzilla. He was born from nuclear waste. This is not the case, though. For Godzilla, this is completely opposite. He is not an abomination at all, and he is here to protect Earth. He is a natural monster. Some villagers back in the old days would consider Godzilla an actual god, and Godzilla is here to bring balance to the nature of Earth. So he's a natural phenomenon. He's not an abomination. So that's pretty much his backstory. He is an ancient species, a super ancient species, and his abilities are, again, they're not like for example, a great comparison I could do is Shin Godzilla, where he is like completely insane abilities. Whereas in Legendary's MonsterVerse Godzilla, they took a more realistic approach. I'm not saying Shin Godzilla isn't realistic. Thinking about nuclear radiation, you could see what the hell is happening in Chernobyl, right? How some animals are growing really weird with 3 heads, maybe 50 eyes, I don't know, some shit like that, right? And that Shin Godzilla is also a reality, but in the sense of a natural monster, it makes sense what the route that Legendary took, and Warner Brothers as well. So Godzilla's abilities are as follows. First of all, he's agile. Compared to his 2014 incarnation, where he's evolved now, he's much more agile. He can kick, he can punch, he knows how to fight. He has an atomic breath. It's a blue atomic breath. It's not the strongest atomic breath out of all Godzillas. However, it is up there, I would say, in the top 5. I would say the strongest atomic breath is going to be between Godzilla 1984 and Shin Godzilla. And Final Wars. Don't forget Final Wars. That thing is insane. But anyways, yeah, so the atomic breath. Also, he has this one specific ability where he actually needs a catalyst for this to happen. He needs 2 different catalysts for this ability to perform, and it's called Burning Godzilla. And essentially what this ability is, it's not like the Burning Godzilla I'm using right now. Yes, I use it for a purpose, just to show what it would look like on a different Godzilla from 1995, but it's not essentially that internally burning in a negative way, because this Godzilla that we see in the game and in the movie from Godzilla vs. Destroyer, he's actually dying. Legendary Godzilla is not dying, but he has excess. The first catalyst, he has excessive radiation, more radiation than he already has in his body, and then what he has after that is the complete bodily energy and presence of Mothra, and for that to happen, she has to die and give her energy to Godzilla. And as that happens, he goes into an all-out burning mode where he has so much powerful radiation in his body that everything inside melts and explodes with excessive amounts of radiation exploding from his body with super, super hot temperatures. Alright? And pretty much I believe that since he has the atomic breath, he can kick, he has kick, punch, he's very good at agility. Oh, and one more thing. He is the first Godzilla to this day that I've seen, because there's only been 2 Godzillas now, I believe, that have been attacked with the Oxygen Destroyer. One is 1954's Godzilla, which got completely obliterated by the Oxygen Destroyer, but this Godzilla actually did not die. He died for a few minutes, and then his heartbeat came back up because it did. It just did. Just deal with it. He's fucking strong. So, he's good, and he is probably one of the strongest Godzillas to date because of surviving the Oxygen Destroyer. He got his ass whooped from it, but he didn't actually die from it. And he was able to come back with some revivations, if that's even a word. I'm trying to say revive. So that's all the abilities. His height is around 119 meters tall, and he is obviously the biggest Godzilla is not him. It is Godzilla Earth, over 300 meters tall. Since if we're talking about all Godzillas, but yeah, and his territorial level is completely maximum, and aggression is moderate, unless he is enticed to battle. And his biome is pretty much all over Earth, but he does prefer the ocean as his top resting area. Okay, we're good. So we went over Godzilla, we went over Cthulhu. Let's get to the battle now, where we've all been waiting for. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna rate these 2 monsters from 2 different perspectives. A close range battle and a far range battle. Now, let's be real here. If a movie were to take place in reality, if a monster were to fight, it would be a close range battle. Everyone would go up each other's faces, and they would just kick each other's butts to the death, right? But in terms of debate, you'll see there's a reason why I do this. One is, if one monster were to be limited from abilities, would it still conquer the other monster? That's what the far distance does. And then the close distance is all out. And if need be, if there is a rare instance where we do go to overtime, I'll explain how we do that as well. But for now, we're just doing this, so let's get on with close range. Or excuse me, far range. So we're going to far range first. So let's see what abilities Cthulhu can and cannot use in terms of far range. Let's begin with this first one, wings. He can fly around, but he can't get specifically close to Godzilla. Telepathy, he can use it. Distance does not matter. You can use telepathy. Vast strength, okay. I mean, nothing. It's only on defense he can, but not offensive. Shapeshifter, he definitely can. Mantis Inducement, he can. Or on-hair Kinesis, he can. So he can pretty much use everything. This is one of the rare instances. Usually some monsters will have something holding them back to use all the abilities, but this specific kaiju, Cthulhu, will be able to use all of his abilities. Now when it comes to Godzilla, he's a little bit limited. Legendary Godzilla is a little bit limited to abilities when it comes to far range. He can't kick, he can't punch, he can't tail whip, he can't do all of those, you could say, martial art things. But what he can do is he can use his atomic breath. And just because we're using all the abilities, he can use fire Godzilla as well. but I see this battle being a horror for Godzilla. So let's go dive deep into this. Starting off, so I see in terms of far range, I see, and by the way, they are limited at 700 meters apart. Can I get closer? The first thing I see Cthulhu causing to Godzilla. Cthulhu, so obviously this is not going to be the first monster Godzilla has battled, right? King Ghidorah and all of the other monsters, the Mutos. So this is going to be a different madness for Godzilla because he has never experienced such a creature as Cthulhu. As soon as Cthulhu and Godzilla come a tad bit closer to each other, I think the first thing that's going to happen is the madness inducement, and it's gonna mess up Godzilla's mind, and he's gonna feel really uncomfortable at the moment. Cthulhu is gonna make him feel scared. I think that's what's gonna happen. By the madness inducement, it's gonna make Godzilla's abilities kind of go all over the place. I think that he's gonna start using atomic breath all over the place, not being able to control it. And as soon as I think Godzilla gets a hold of himself, and he decides to use an atomic breath on Cthulhu, what I see actually happening is telepathy will take into place in Cthulhu, and he will immediately notice that Godzilla wants to use the atomic breath. Before his spines even light up, he's getting out of the way. Now, some may argue, but isn't he like really big, and the surface area that Godzilla can target is adequate enough for even if he moves? Well, no, because remember, Cthulhu, his prime is in the ocean, and he's really quick, so he can really move his way around in the ocean. So I'm not saying every time he's gonna dodge it, but a good portion he will dodge, and that's because of telepathy. And again, by the telepathy and by pushing the madness inducement, it's just gonna go Godzilla. It's gonna make Godzilla go crazy all over the place. And what does he have to do? Another thing he could do is just quickly use a shapeshifter and change into Mothra. Changing into Mothra, it's gonna go Godzilla. It's gonna make Godzilla go apeshit, and just he doesn't have to kill Godzilla. The madness inducement will cause Godzilla just to retreat and push back, and that's the way I see Cthulhu actually beating Godzilla in a far range battle. But remember, it's a whole different ball game when you're up in each other's faces. So in terms of far range, yes, we give it to Cthulhu 1-0. Let's go to Godzilla. In terms of close range, it's all out war, and now Godzilla has a bit of a height advantage. He has around 19 meter advantage from Cthulhu. Not too much, but anything is accepted, right? In battle, any type of advantage is very favored. So what's gonna happen? I see actually Godzilla being the first one to attack in a close range, him being the more of a defender of like his land. He's gonna be really pissed off of Cthulhu. So what I see happening in terms of Godzilla is he's going to charge at him. I don't think he's gonna use the atomic breath at first, but I think he's gonna charge at him, and it's gonna be a fair fight because both of these monsters are very agile and quick in the water, as they both reach prime levels or optimum levels of speed in the water. Godzilla is very quick in the water, so is Cthulhu. But remember, Cthulhu has big tentacles, so once they begin to brawl with each other, I see Cthulhu actually wrapping around Godzilla, trying to squeeze him to his death. But Godzilla, remember, has big claws, he has good teeth, so I think that Godzilla can easily start scratching the flesh out of Cthulhu and start biting onto him. which I think Cthulhu is not gonna let go. It's just gonna try taking his push at it and just pushing, squeezing, 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 squeezing. Assuming that Godzilla already has excessive radiation, is prepared for the battle, he can easily, you know, I know people are going to argue with me with this, so I'm going to say both different scenarios. Imagine he's all wrapped up, opens his mouth, and just blasts Cthulhu. Like, imagine the blast radius is so close to his body, which it is, right? They're wrapped up in each other. He's going to use his atomic breath on Cthulhu as he's already biting him. They're just going to explode the interior area. All the cells, organs are going to fail and just explode when that happens. And that's just the atomic breath. If Godzilla initiates his fire ability because he sees he's being squeezed, Cthulhu is fried sushi. If that makes any sense. Sushi's supposed to be raw. Anyways, you get my point. I think close range, Godzilla will always defeat Cthulhu. No matter of telepathy or kinesis, doesn't matter. Godzilla is too strong when it comes to brute strength, and his atomic breath and fire ability or burning ability prove otherwise. So maybe if Cthulhu were to use a different type of ability, whereas he can control what his ability wants or his opponent wants to do, could have been a different ball game here. But now it's, interestingly, it's 1-1 because obviously I'm gonna go with Godzilla being close range, as I just made my point there. So let's talk about overtime. What I do in overtime is I just go over pure abilities, and we rate these two monsters over pure abilities. So let's go ahead and begin with this first kaiju, being Cthulhu. So he has the ability to fly. He has the ability to do telepathy. He has vast strength. He has a shape-shifting ability. He has a madness inducement. He has honor kinesis, and that's about it. Godzilla is very agile. He can kick, he can punch, he can do very good tail whips. Now, also what he can do is an atomic breath. It's a very strong one. He can also use his fire ability. Once he uses his fire ability, almost all living organisms fail and they die. And he is one of the most strongest Godzillas of all time, being able to survive a hit from the oxygen destroyer. So, out of these two abilities, it's a close call, but I'm gonna have to go with Godzilla because of his fire and his atomic breath change the game when it comes to close range, and that is the true battle. 2-1 because of overtime in favor of Godzilla. So that's the end of this debate video. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, have a great day.